Hey everybody, I am Jasmine, aka Enlightened Peacock, and this is Birds of a Feather, and we are in the Enlightenment Nest. Welcome back to my podcast. All right, good morning. It is way overdue that I've recorded another episode. I have been sick, so sick for the last 3 weeks. It has been a absolute nightmare. For the last week, I haven't had a voice, like barely any voice at all. So I couldn't record anything, no matter how bad I wanted to. And then the 2 weeks before that, I had a stomach bug that would not go away. And today is the first day I have felt myself and better, and I immediately want to come out here and record a podcast episode. And my list of topics that I have that I want to do has gotten so long at this point, and every time I sit down to record an episode, I'm like, what are we going to talk about this time? And even though I have a mile long list, I don't know what I want to talk about when I sit and want to sit to record to start recording an episode. So today, I thought I would just kind of wing it a little bit, but my main topic that I had off the top of my head, which we'll see where it goes as we progress into it, is spring and ways for you, and if you have a family, your family, ways that you can ground and readjust to springtime. And there's a lot going on in astrology as well right now. So you're probably feeling a huge energy shift. If you haven't felt it, you're probably gonna begin to. I think most of us have already felt it already, though. In March, at the end of March, there was a huge energy shift, and we're starting to feel more motivated. We're starting to feel more energized and just wanting to do stuff, wanting to accomplish stuff. Not just your usual, it's spring, we're getting out of our winter blues season, we're ready to start getting more sun in our lives. It's more than just that. It's more than your usual coming out of hibernation feeling. It's also the just feeling the energy in the universe shift and on a more positive note. And there was a huge shift happened, and is still happening. It takes time for the full transition to actually take place, so we're in the middle of that transition right now, where everything is just, you're getting pulled out of the gutter or the ditch or whatever hole you feel like you've been stuck in for the last several months, maybe even years. The last 3 years have been, I think everybody can agree, some of the worst years. The last 3 years have been a nightmare. I won't say all of it was a nightmare, because even though with the pandemic and everything else going on in the world, the war, it it's just been miserable on so many parts. But and then the economy and the inflation of everything right now, and the power, the price of utilities and power and fuel, and everybody's feeling it. It's hitting everybody hard. But at the same time, I've done more, my spiritual journey basically started 3 years ago. So the last 3 years have been really hard in many ways, both in the physical world and in my mental mind, because I've been doing a lot of self-work and self-reflection of my life, and making a lot of changes to try to be a better person for both my family and society and myself. But it's, and then the spiritual aspect has been there too. It's been really hard spiritually, because I've gone through a couple of ego deaths this year, and one was a huge one. And this last one that I just had was just, it's definitely hit me to the point where I've said many times over the last couple years, okay, today is the day I'm going to start really buckling down and making better changes for myself, better choices for myself. I've said it many times, and after this last ego death I just had, I'm ready. like, and it's the energy of the world too. The energy shifting that has also got me pushing me like I'm ready to make these changes that I keep saying I'm gonna make. I'm really ready to make them now. Um, so yeah, like I'm ready. Like I'm ready to make these changes, and it's so cool because I'm not gonna go into the complete backstory, but basically I did a Bufo ceremony. Anybody that doesn't know what that is, Bufo is toad medicine, and it gives you an ego death. And you basically have a rebirth, and you really do come back a whole new person. And when that happened, it altered my body chemistry, because I've been saying for the last couple years that I've been wanting to eat healthier. I've been wanting to eat healthier. I'm getting sick of eating all this processed crap food, and I want to start eating better. But my taste buds up until this point have been so difficult because I'm very picky, because I wasn't exposed to any healthy, good, nutritious foods as a kid. I was exposed to the processed, boxed meal crap. So my exposure wasn't there, so I never got to try it. And even trying it for the first time as an adult, most of it I don't like because my body's not used to that. My body is not used to good, healthy produce. So I've tried many things, try to get into new habit of eating, but it's hard to change your taste buds. And I've gone through fasting for like a week to try to reset my taste buds so that I can start over and try these things again. And nothing I tried worked. After this last journey, though, this last ego death I went through on the Bufo ceremony, it changed my taste buds, because it's funny. I didn't think that could happen, but ever since that ceremony, whenever I eat anything processed, whether it's like Hamburger Helper or Doritos or takeout or cookies, like anything that's not like it's processed, it tastes like, I don't know how to explain it. It tastes fake. That's the best way I can put it. Like things that I loved the taste of before this, I eat it now and I'm like, this tastes like chemicals. This tastes like nasty. Like I can't eat this. Like even my favorite chips. Like I eat chips and I'm like, no, I don't like this anymore. I tried to drink a soda the other day. I don't usually drink soda. I'm not a soda drinker anymore. I stopped drinking soda a long time ago, but there was a time when I would indulge in soda on a regular basis, and I don't like it anymore. It tastes like chemicals to me now, and I'm like, this has made it easier for me because now I don't want to eat any of this crap anymore. But when I do, I haven't been eating good either, though. I haven't been eating, basically. I'm kind of like screwing myself here, but I haven't been eating because I don't have anything healthy in the house to eat. Because every time we buy produce, it's like within a day or two, it is moldy and it goes in the trash. And I'm not going to keep going buying fruit and produce and having it mold and throw away the next day. So I just haven't been buying any healthy food. So I'm just like, I guess I just won't eat. Which is not a good idea. Don't do this. Don't do what I'm saying. But I don't know what else to do because I'm like, I don't like the taste of anything. So that is part of the reason it took me so long to get better. When I got sick, my body wasn't healthy. I didn't have, you've got to feed your body nutrition so that it can stay healthy, so that when you do get sick, it can fight off the infection or the virus or whatever. And I wasn't eating, so I didn't have any nutrition to help my immune system fight back. And I realized that like a few days into being sick, I was like, oh, I haven't been eating. I'm not going to get better at this rate. And I mean, I took vitamins. That's about it. I'd occasionally eat some small little thing here and there, but I found once I started actually eating again, even if it wasn't like healthy food, I was at least putting something energy-wise in my body. Then my body finally started to get better. So, yeah, eat food. So you don't get sick and not be able to get better. Um, so this whole experience of me getting sick, and then not getting better as quickly as I could have because of not eating, brought me to today's topic, which spring, how to get yourself into your spring mood and out of your winter blues and transition, and how to do it gradually and not overdo it like I did. Um, I'm ready to be outside, guys. I'm ready to be outside. So, whether you are, if you have land or not, if you live in a house or an apartment, try your hardest to spend as much time outside as you can, because that is what we need right now after this long, cold winter that we have had. We need to spend time outside. We need to reground, because what happens in the winter is where you don't spend as much time outside, not only are you getting kind of tired and cranky and sometimes depressed because of the lack of sun exposure from not going outside as much. And because there's less sunny days in the winter, it's more cloudy in the winter than it is in the summer. Um, because of this and the fact that you don't get to go outside and ground yourself and walk barefoot, you get very disconnected from Gaia. You get very disconnected from the earth, and that our energy comes from the earth. We have to stay connected to her so that we can live to our full potential and be healthy. So as soon as we are comfortable, as soon as I start seeing grass, my shoes come off. I've been barefoot for the last week, and I wear flip flops out of the house now. As soon as the snow starts to melt, the flip flops come out and the boots go away. I hate wearing shoes. I hate them. And I go barefoot everywhere. I drive barefoot, walk around my yard barefoot. I never put shoes on in my yard, ever. I go hiking barefoot. I go to the stores and I will put my flip-flops on right before I get out of the car, and I will take them off the minute I get out of the store and get back in my car. Hate shoes, because our energy needs to be recharged. Our batteries need to be recharged by connecting with Gaia. And if we're always wearing shoes, the rubber soles of your shoes disconnect you from the earth, and that cuts off that energy supply. So being outside helps with shoes on, but not nearly as much as it will if you're barefoot. So if you ever feel flighty, if you ever feel out in space daydreaming, if you ever feel very ungrounded, like very in your head all the time, mind can't stop going 90 miles per hour, you need to ground. And a lot of people are feeling that right now because they've been inside too long with shoes on for too long. Take off the shoes, go outside, put your feet on the ground. I don't care if it's grass, I don't care if it's mud, sand, dirt, even if it's still snow. I walked outside barefoot too in the snow and ice. I was that desperate. Get your feet out there, stick them on the ground, rub your little toes in the grass, and ground yourself for as long as you can. And I highly recommend that you do that at least once a day. It does more than just ground you. It actually discharges electromagnetic energy that is stored up inside of you, especially those who spend a lot of time in front of computer screens, TV screens, on their phones. When we use these electronics and are completely surrounded by them all the time, which most of us are, it starts to build up inside of you. It starts to unalign your chakras and your own energy flow, and it does fuck with you, and it's not good for you. And I really, really recommend, if you are one of those that sleeps with their phone next to their bed, move it. Because having that phone there, if you read your warnings in your manual of your phone, it even says in your phone manual not to keep it on you all the time because it puts off harmful electronic frequencies. It says it right in your warning in your cell phone manual. They wouldn't put those there if they weren't necessary. So don't sleep with your phone next to you, because that, especially when it's on the nightstand right next to your head, it's all going into you all night long while you sleep, and your mind is the most vulnerable when you're sleeping. You don't want that next to you when you sleep. I would move it across the room. If you have like a nightstand or something on the other side of the room, I would put it over there instead. And that actually serves two purposes, because if you also use it as an alarm clock in the morning, because I think most people use their phones as alarms now instead of having an actual alarm clock. If you put it on the other side of the room instead of having it right next to you, you're going to be less likely to be one of those that keeps hitting the snooze button over and over. Because if you actually have to get up out of bed to turn off the alarm, once you get up, you're less likely to go back to sleep. So it serves two purposes. One, keeping those harmful energies away from you. And two, it helps you get up easier in the morning. It's really bad for you to keep waking up and going back to sleep over and over. If you're one of those that snoozes or sets like a million alarms, my husband does that. If I'm not there to get him up, that's what he does. It's very unhealthy for you to do it that way, because the best way for you to get up and feel awake and feel more engaged throughout the day is to just get up and do it like that. And I know it's hard for a lot of people because their minds don't just wake up when they open their eyes like mine do. I would not classify myself as a morning person per se. I don't like to put myself in any type of a category because it all really does depend on the day. There will be days when I can get up with the sun and be perfectly fine and happy all day. And then there are going to be days when I'm going to lay in bed and wake up around 8, but I'm just going to lay there for another hour because I don't want to get up yet. It does depend on the day, but definitely do find that on the days that I just get up early, those days tend to be more filled with focus and energy. So, some tips on how to transition into spring with a new mindset, a new version of yourself, new goals to set for yourself, because I think we're all in a place with the way that the stars are aligning, and with the astrological plane of things, like how things are transitioning right now, because we just transitioned into a completely different season astrologically speaking, and it's a big one because this transition hasn't happened in a long time. This is a huge one, and this is like a 23-year season that we're in. It's like a new year for Pluto, basically. Pluto's on a whole new cycle right now, and we're starting like a new 23-year cycle right now. And this one's going to be a period of, it's going to be a time when you're going to see a lot of focus on global peace and love and unity and harmony, and you're going to see a lot more people rise up against like their governments and their leaders and speak finally. Like it's going to be like a time of Woodstock again. Like people are going to come together and change the world for the better right now in this next 23 years, and it's really gonna, I think, pick up pace in the next 3. Like you're gonna see things start to really pick up the pace, and I think everybody's feeling that in one way or another, whether it be you feel like you want to make a big improvement in your personal life, your spiritual life, your career, like your home. Like everybody feels motivated to just make progress in their lives right now and to do something big, and it's the stars. They're trying to guide us where to go and what to do, and the best thing to do right now is go with the flow. Like really go with the flow. If there's something in your life that you're not happy with, that doesn't make you happy, make a change. Don't be afraid to make a change, because now's the time to do it. There's so many opportunities right now for people. Just like make changes, make big changes right now, and believe in yourself and believe that you deserve whatever you want. You can do it. Whatever you want, you can make it happen. Like now is the time to manifest that shit. I'm so for this time period right now. Like we're ready for this. So one of the changes that I made recently is switching from coffee to mushroom coffee. So when I first switched, I didn't like the flavor. I'm not a big mushroom person. I really am not. I don't like the taste of mushrooms. They do just taste like dirt to me. Um, I do have to mix it with sugar and milk like I do coffee, to make it feel more coffee-ish. But I have found that making the change has made a difference in my health. Um, Coffee always makes me crash, number one. After a while, I'm just like, it also makes my stomach turn. I have tested to see if I have the same effect with it having no sugar or no milk or whatever, but no matter what, it like even if I cut the cream out, like it's still like my stomach doesn't like it when I drink it. It goes right through me. As I always tell my husband, coffee makes me poop. So, I have to be very careful if I'm drinking it while I'm driving, because if I try to drink coffee and then drive, I'm gonna have to find a restroom shortly after starting the trip because it usually makes me have to run to the bathroom. So I switched to mushroom coffee. There's a lot of different brands out there. I don't remember the name of this one, but it's really good. And it has like a lot of different types of mushrooms in it. And like I said, I have to mix it with sugar and milk to make it taste so it's not so dirty tasting, I guess. Um, but I finally have gotten used to it. This is the first time I'm drinking it actually after the Bufo ceremony. I like it a lot better now than I did before the Bufo ceremony. So the fresh taste buds coming into it helps a lot. I really do feel like after that Bufo ceremony, it like reset my taste palette. So like everything is like I'm tasting it for the very first time again. And things that I did not like before, I really like now, and things I liked before, I hate now because they're all chemically and gross. So making simple little switches, like switching from caffeinated coffee to mushroom coffee, which is better for you and still gives you energy, and it doesn't have that addictive quality to it like caffeine does. That's one great change to make in this new spring and this new year we're going into. Um, so, some other great changes to make. Make these changes gradually. Don't do them like it's hard to make changes in your life when you're trying to go from one extreme to the next. It's going to be very difficult if you want to say start being more active. For it's going to be really difficult to do that if you go from not doing any type of physical activity or workout to um, trying to work out every single day. That's a huge change, at a huge extreme. So like if you're gonna try to be more active, um, like for me, I was doing yoga 5 days a week basically, and that's pretty good for me. Like that's a nice, it gives me days that I don't have to do it. And and usually it's the weekends I don't do yoga, um, but it doesn't even have to be that many days. It can be like every other day, or it could be every 2 days, or like whatever. Wean yourself into it and then slowly pick up more days as you go. Like you can just do it every couple days, and then as you kind of start getting into the routine of it, do it every other day instead. And then maybe do it 5 days straight and then 2 days off. And then, like, because my days are the weekends, like I said, that I don't do yoga. So if for some reason there's a day in the middle of the week I don't find time, or I forget, or I just don't feel like doing it that day because I'm too tired, because I didn't get enough sleep, like whatever the reason may be, I'll skip that day and then I will do one of my weekend days. I will do yoga to make up for it. So, like, don't be so set in stone about the changes that you make, because if you try to make a set schedule or a set routine, and try to stick to it and do too much at once, if you fall off that pattern, you get discouraged very easily because you didn't stick with this pattern or the routine you had set, and then you'll get discouraged from continuing or jumping back on. So go easy on yourself when you fall out of the patterns you're trying to change. Um, and be easy on yourself if you try to do too much at once and then you crash. You should definitely go slow with anything that you're changing into. If you're trying to eat healthier, doesn't have to be going from eating takeout every day of the week to only eating organic homemade meals. That's a huge change. That's too much at once. I don't would never expect anybody to make that drastic of a change. Do it gradually. If you eat a lot of takeout and you want to wean off the takeout, make it like a plan to only have it so many nights a week or only once a week, and then slowly wean it down until next thing you know, you don't eat takeout at all anymore unless it's an emergency because you're needing to feed your family and you're not home, kind of thing. Like, that's basically how we do it in our house. We don't do takeout unless we have to go somewhere and we don't have time to cook first. Like right now, it's going to be baseball season starting soon, so there's going to be a lot of nights when I've got to think of quick meal to take to baseball with us because baseball practice or games are sometimes at the same time as dinner. So nights like that, it's like normally a lot of families will go buy pizza and bring it with them, or Italians and bring it with them. Make your own Italians. Get rolls. That's going to be my go-to thing this year. Keep sub rolls in the house at all times and keep things to put in subs in the house at all times. So if at any moment we need to take a meal on the road with us in the car for like a trip or a baseball game, like whatever, Italians, you can make them yourself and wrap them up and take them with you. You don't need to go buy it at a store or a sandwich shop or whatever and pay like a ton extra. So, yeah, like try to think of little things that you can do like that to try to cut back on the takeout. So, yeah, like little changes like that. Trying to cut out the takeout more, trying to be more active. Another great change, like I said, is getting outside more. Some ways that you can try to get yourself and your family outside more. Some of these are going to be a little bit easier if you have a yard. But one thing that I am doing is trying to focus on getting things for the yard for my kids to do outside, and for making an area outside that's appealing to my kids, that makes them want to be outside. That my son loves reading in the hammock groves. So last year we made one in our backyard. We had hammocks. We had 3 of them, I think. So we hung 3 hammocks in our backyard last year, and my kids absolutely loved it. Problem was, we did not have enough hammocks for all of us to be out there in our own hammock. So we were all like buddied up with someone else. So this year for Easter, they haven't got them yet, but my kids are going to get Easter hammocks. So the hammock grove in the backyard is a way for me to pull my family out of the house more. I'm going to expand it this year now that my kids are going to each have their own hammocks. We'll each have our own. And so yeah, I'm gonna make like this really cool hammock grove area in my backyard to encourage my kids to go outside more and use a hammock grove. So another thing I did was I bought a cornhole set so that we could play cornhole, and that'll get us outside more too. We already have a horseshoe set. I just got a disc golf goal because we play disc golf a lot. And I want to practice more because I'm not very good at it. So I got my own little goal to set up in my backyard, and it's portable, so I can move it to wherever I want, and we can practice disc golf, putting, and whatever, so that when we go play tournaments or on the course, I'll have practiced a little bit. And yeah, so stuff like that. Another thing that I'm gonna do to get the kids outside more is I'm hopefully gonna be getting a trampoline at some point this summer. And so I'm gonna try to make a bunch of different stuff with these pallets. I'm gonna try to make a little reading nook clubhouse basically. They've seen like a mud kitchen for like the making mud pies and stuff. So I'm gonna try to make one of those. I thought that was really cool. And then there's a thing I saw because I have some old tires laying around, and there's a couple like way out in the woods behind my house from whoever's lived here forever ago. And there's like old tires just laying out in the woods. So I'm like, I'm gonna haul those out and I'm gonna recycle them. And I've seen these things where you spray paint the tires with spray paint, and then you take wooden boards and cut them to fit the very top of the tire just enough so it doesn't fall down in the hole. We want it to go over the lip. And then you get foam and outdoor fabric, like canvas fabric for outdoor material. It's not going to get like ruined from the rain, and it'll dry quicker if it's the outdoor stuff. And you put it on over the foam, flip it over, and staple it to the back of the board. And then you set the cushions down right on top of the tires, and it's a little stool. And I'm gonna make 4 of those, maybe 5, probably 5, because if my friend moves in, her 2 kids plus mine 3 kids, it'll be 5. So I want enough of them so each of them has their own. So I'm gonna get like a set of 5 made, and then you take 2 pallets and stack them on top of each other, and that's a coffee table. You spray paint it, and then you put them around the table, and they'll have their own like little table and stool set with the tires. And I'm like, oh my god, this is so cute. So I'm like seeing all kinds of these cute ideas to recycle tires and pallets. And so yeah, like these projects themselves are gonna keep me outside, and then when I'm done with these projects, it'll keep my kids outside. So I'm like trying to think of all these different things I can do in my yard to get my kids out of the house. I do a lot of yard work myself. I plan to do a lot of clearing in my yard, do a lot of gardening. I have 4 garden beds at the moment, and I'm planning to make a couple more beds. What are they called? They're called mound beds. I'm going to do, I think, 2 of those in my front yard this year. And I'm basically turning my front yard into my garden. It's going to be fun gardening because it's grounding work when you garden, because you're getting into the dirt, you're getting into earth. So gardening is a great way to ground and to adjust to spring and summer. If you don't have space for a garden, you could do a planter garden on like a porch or a patio. You can grow tomatoes and all kinds of stuff in little planters. It's really neat. I've seen a lot. And even if you can't do that, like you could get a little garden box and just do like a herb garden in your kitchen on your windowsill. If you got like a nice sunny window. So like gardening is great for you. Not only are you grounding yourself, but you're connecting with plants, and they're alive too, and they have energy and they have feelings. And I love connecting with plants, and I'm getting more into my house plants lately. But house plants is another great way that you can get your gardening in without having a yard or a patio or the ability to do a garden. But yeah, like gardening, it's a great way to ground yourself and connect. Another great habit to start in this new season that we are in. Think of something that you want to do to try to make your family healthier and better, or just yourself if you live alone. There's just so many different areas of your life you can improve on. If your goal is, say, something big, like finding a career you love or changing your job or something of that nature, start small. Start with figuring out what could you do that you love, that you would really enjoy making money doing that. Like, is there something that you love doing in your life that's not something that you currently make money from that you wish you could do as a job? And then go from there. If you like to paint, try to sell your art. Start with one painting, and you can either, like, there's so many different forms of art too, like drawing, painting, sculptures, like so many, even music, writing music. If there's something you love, find a way to make money from it, because I think everybody should be able to make a living doing something they love, not having to go get a job that they're miserable at. If you want to do something like that for the rest of your life, then have at it. But I don't think anybody wants to. uh, live the rest of their lives doing a job they hate just to survive. That's not life. That's not thriving. That's not making the best of your life at all. So try to find a way to, even if it's like not even your full-time job, even if it's just like a little side hustle to make little money on the side, like even that's better, because then you can slowly grow from there and make it into something more substantial. I can't wait for the summer. It's gonna be so much fun. Um, Water rafting. That's another great thing to do this summer, to reconnect and ground. And water grounds you. So water rafting is one of my favorite things to do in the summer. Um, Disc golfing, there are courses that you can go to. So yeah, and it's good exercise, especially if you go to the courses I go to that have a lot of hills. So disc golfing's a great thing to take up in the summertime to get active and get out in nature. And you can take kids. So I think I'm going to wrap this one up. So make changes, do them gradually so you do not get burnout and you don't get overwhelmed and you don't get easily discouraged when you fail. And don't be afraid to let yourself fail. Don't be afraid to start over. Don't be afraid to adjust and make changes and then try again. It's like with anything else we do in our lives, you've got to learn a little at a time and you've got to fail to learn lessons. Cannot learn lessons if you don't make mistakes. So don't be afraid to make the mistakes. All right, guys. I am so happy I got to record this finally. Guys, have a good one. Happy spring. Bye, guys.